Well, hello. I've quartered up my deer, and I'm fixing to start processing it. Breaking it down in smaller pieces, manageable pieces, making steaks and roast. I don't do too many steaks anymore. Most of it's roast and ground up for sausage or summer sausage, stuff like that. But this is the back ham. And you can do this with just about anything with four legs. Cows, elk, caribou, hogs, they're all pretty much basically. And all we're going to do, we're going to get some of this silver skin off, or the stuff here. Be careful, you want to use a sharp knife. The more time that you put into making your meat, getting all this stuff off, the much better it will be in the end. In our local area, they're charging anywhere from $80 to $100 to do a deer. It's ridiculous. And then you get this little, all of them will tell you that you get your own deer back, but if you hunted very long, you know that when you take your deer to a butcher shop, they're not going to sit there and get all this little stuff like this off. They're just not going to do it. And most of them, when they grind, they have the big commercial grinders, big hoppers. They're not going to, most of them, and I know some that say they do, but in reality they don't. I know they're not going to put 10 pounds of deer meat into a big old hopper and just make a little 10 pounds of sausage for you. So they throw everybody's in there, and then you get about what they figure is average. So, or if you order 20 pounds of sausage, you get 20 pounds of sausage, and that's just the way they work. They're not known for their detail. So anyway, what we're going to do, you can see this ham is just different layers. You can see where they're connected here. These muscles, and they're connected in groups. So what we're going to do is just go along each of these muscles and just separate them. You can see how this one's already coming undone. And this is so simple, you'll be going like, why do I? And you'll get a much better deer meat or hog, whatever you're butchering, doing it yourself generally. It's just not a lot to this. It can be time consuming, but it's not difficult. It's not rocket science. And some people don't even take this much. I tend to you want to be careful not to see how these muscles are coming undone now. It's just really simple. You just work at separating all these muscles. And get in there, be very careful. You want to use a sharp knife. I've had these on ice for a while, so they're super cold. Everything's setting up pretty nice. See, here's where some more muscles come together under here. It's just like a puzzle sometimes. And you'll have a great boneless deer. See here this comes. This is probably one of my favorite roasts right here. I call it the football roast. I think in actuality, I think it's called a chuck roast, but reminds me of a football. And it connects right here to the leg, and we're just going to cut around it. You have to come up here. I'm trying to take a little shortcut here and get this done quickly, so this video doesn't run into being an epic miniseries. See, these muscles just come right apart. Like I said, this is very simple, easy peasy to do. And you're getting your deer, not some Rambo hunter out there who gut shot one 10 times and then didn't gut it for 2 days, driving around with it on the hood of the truck or his car or whatever. Okay, it joins up here to this bone, so we're going to cut around this bone. And if you just feel right there, you can feel the bone. Get that out of the way. See this muscle separating from the others. Just follow them. They'll show you where they're attached to. See this piece of meat here? Attached right there. That may be separate or not. No, I got some tenderloins over here in the sink that are going to be separate or not. This is probably burger right here. You can see how easy that comes off the bone. Just follow it, let the knife follow the bone. A boning knife would be better, but this is what I have, so I made this particular knife. I made it for myself, and it's really more of a super paring knife, but I haven't got around to making me a boning knife yet. So, and as you can see, this is coming off the bone really well. We're going to start cutting this muscle off. This muscle comes down and attaches to what I call the calf muscle. Well, it's not the calf muscle, but it's the one they used to run away with. Some run away, some don't. And I'm just going to cut right here. Cut this away from the bone. And we're just, there again, we're just going through here where it's attached and pulling it away from the bone. This one wraps around. I don't know if you can see that or not. Get my big old belly out of the way. This one wraps around and is just attached right here. And so we're working this off. Come back here. Hands are getting a little cold and numb now. Wow, oops. Voila. We'll have to trim that up. I'm just, like I say, I'm kind of using a little piece here, another there. We're still working on what I call a football roast. I usually end up making some steaks out of it, but I usually save a couple because I love putting them in the smoker and smoking them up good with some mesquite or hickory. Here again, we got this slimy. We're going to cut that off and cut around this bone, get the rest of these muscles detached. As you can see them starting to fall away there. You can cut along, clean this up. You gotta watch it because this bone comes back up. A lot of people try to cut straight and you'll waste a lot of meat. Okay, that's hamburger there. We won't worry about that right now. Okay, here we go. Ham's deboned. Now let's get our hands are cold. I can't get this. Okay, let's get this cut up. We're gonna look there, coming apart. Just like we like. And I'll trim all this up. I'll come back later off camera. I ain't gonna do it now for time's sake, and cut all this stuff here off. Fillet knife works very good, and I'll probably go out and get one of my fillet knives. I know I will, but no probably about it, but I take time to cut all this off. This is dog food right here. This stuff is tough. You can't eat it. It doesn't taste good. Deer fat does not taste good. So if you think, oh, I'm going to leave the fat on there, so trust me, don't do it. Cut all the fat off. Deer's lean anyway. It was a young yearling. She was fat. Now I've ate some of the tenderloins, which depending on what part of the country you're in, some people call the little back straps up inside of tenderloins. I call them tenderloins. And they call the ones along the outer back the back straps. Whatever you call them, they're good. I call them. And I'm just about got this one separated. See, it's coming along just fine. Boom. That's what I call the football roast. But I think it's called the chuck roast or rump roast. Rump roast, I believe it's on the back of the ham. Who cares? I call it good. Now, you can take this, clean it up, and get this off. And you can vacuum pack it just like that, smoke that thing, and put some seasoning on. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just make indentions in here, and I'll put like maybe bacon bits, or you know, strips of bacon and garlic in there. Or sometimes I just put some barbecue rub on that thing. What I do also a lot of, I will cut these into steaks, and about, you know, half inch thick or so. Here's another roast coming up here. Some people, now I do this too a lot, I'll freeze the whole roast, and then maybe when I'm running low, I want some steaks, I'll just take the roast out, thaw it out, and oh, my hands are getting really cool. Thaw it out and make steaks out of that. And here again, here's all this fat, we don't want it on there, so I'll just cut it. Be a little gentle there, and try to get as much low as you can. And there's another roast. Now, when you cut steaks, I don't know if this camera's picking this up. I got to get it in the frame. When you're cutting steaks, the grain, look where the grain's running. You always want to cut steaks across the grain. This is running this way. You want to cut it this way if you're going to do steaks, or this will be so tough that your dog can't eat it. So just a little tip there. So as you see, we're coming. This little old girl wasn't much to her, but I tell you what, it will be some prime eating. And now I'm just going to cut through the fat there. I'll take it off later. I'm just trying to do this to show you that how you know, you take your hams apart. And I'll cut all this off. Again, it's not good. Okay, your dogs love it. Cats love it. Here's another roast. You can use this as roast. Freeze it later. Here's the grain here. You see the grain running. You would cut it this way. This way. See the grain running. And so there you go. See how quick that was? I mean, I cut this off the bone. This will go into the grinder as well. And that's basically, here's a front quarter. We'll do the same thing. So got a little ice on her. That's the way I like it. You can see where the muscles are attaching here to each other. Here, and you just make these cuts, and it's, once you've done it a couple times, you'll say, wow, that's real easy. Why hadn't I been doing this? Why am I paying a butcher 75, 80, 100 bucks to do this for me, and I'm not probably getting my own deer to begin with? So anyway, there you go. Give processing your own game animals or your own farm animals a try. Like I said, this works the same with a cow, a moose, a goat, hog. You know, just start deboning, and I would highly suggest using a vacuum packer, because this meat is so high quality, you don't want to waste it. And around here it doesn't last long enough to get freezer burn, even if I gave it a chance, but I vacuum pack it. So there you go, quick and easy how to debone and process your game animals. Thank you, and subscribe to the channel, and share us with your friends if you found this useful.